Okay, our first midterm review. Yeah, question?
For our time billing, if we get interrupted or something, how much should we be granular about? I was not actually working on it right now versus.
Okay, let's talk about the billing stuff. Basically, when I look over the status reports, what I'm looking at is how is this team as a team doing? I expect variations in hours. Some of you will have things to contribute, some of you won't. The only way it's going to come up as an issue is if we get towards the end of the semester and Sean is hearing from project managers or other team members, so-and-so is not pulling her or his weight. That's when it's an issue. Beyond that, to a large extent, if I look and see a status report at this point that's coming in with 10 hours total for the whole team, I'm going to say, okay, you've got a demo in 2 weeks. I would be expecting a lot more coding at this point. Aside from that, I wouldn't be terribly concerned. This is going to be a quick midterm review, and we'll do it more in depth in 2 weeks. But this so you can know. Okay, the test will be on the Learning Suite. It'll go live 5 after midnight, Sunday night going into Monday morning. And it'll be live till 11:59 p.m. Monday. So you've got basically 24 hours to get it done. I used to have a smaller window, but last semester I had a student who had to be in London that weekend, so it's like, what the heck. Open book, open note, open device. Basically, and you're on the honor code for this, do your own work, but other than that, use Google. Heck, use Stack Overflow for all I care. I'm going to try to find something. At least for the midterm. But the idea here, my goal on this midterm, and my goal in this class, the reason why you have the assignments you do and the reading you do, is that when you run into these issues in your future jobs, I want you to say, wait, this sounds familiar. There was something about this somewhere in DeMarco and Lister, or in Brooks, or in Forrest Grant, or in that stuff that Professor Webster made us read his. And you go back and look and say, oh my gosh, this is the problem. And if we're going in this direction, this is what happens. And then you start looking for a new job. The questions will typically call from citations. There's usually at least one question that deals with life cycle deliverables. Typical format, we'll have a sample of questions. 5 questions, each question worth 25 points. The whole test is worth 125 points. And that's 1/4 of your grade. Yeah?
The question on a life cycle deliverable, like what is the first chart for?
Something like that. It's like, name the deliverables and, why you use them. I've usually had some question like that on there, so expect that. Okay. Class sources are basically your readings. Plus you can use, since it's live internet and everything else, you can go to my slides. But if you're going to cite my slides or my lectures, cite something that's original with me. Don't go to my slides to cite Mythical Management. Go to Mythical Management to cite Mythical Management. You can cite podcasts. Great midterm cheat sheets. This is an important slide. I would probably print this out and have this handy. This is a great shortcut to finding out references. Chapter 18 of Mythical Management is his whole summary of the first 17 chapters of Mythical Management in bullet form. Peopleware, look at the table of contents. Accelerate has got Appendix A. The pitfalls in the next Webster reading you're doing is a good one. And you can go to the website to look at online readings, lecture slides, and of course any notes you have. So this is the sort of stuff I would have handy. It will make your test a lot easier. It's like, okay, I know Brooks said this, you go to chapter 18, start going through, aha, there it is in chapter 7. Flip over to chapter 7. Yes, that's where he said it. On giving answers, you must cite at least from one of the class sources. When a citation, free to cite from my lines, but if it's a class source, you must use a source. You can use omitted chapters out of the reading. And I've had students do that successfully. They've cited to chapters Mythical Man Month that weren't assigned reading, for example. I'll get to your question in a second. Form of citation will vary, and I'll give a few examples, but it should be sufficient to identify specifically what you're relying on. And I'm going to talk about scoring in a minute. Basically, a question, each citation is typically worth 5 points. 4 points is what you get for a bare minimum citation. 5 points is what you get if you then explain exactly what the issue is and why that citation is relevant. I'll give you actual examples here in a second. Question in the back.
Yeah, I was wondering if there's a time limit on the test.
3 hours. So from the time, as soon as you have to be sure you've blocked out time, so on and so forth. You know, you're adults. I trust you can do this. When you start, you have 3 hours to finish. And my experience, by the way, since that's the next question everyone asks, about how long does it usually take? Back when I was able to actually do it in the classroom, when I was teaching in classrooms where we had enough power outlets for everyone to bring their laptops, I would say 80% of the class finished in an hour and a half. 90% were probably finished in 2 hours, and there was usually 2 or 3 people who stretched it all the way to 3 hours. Yeah?
So it says there that 4 out of 5 points is for a single question.
I'll show you.
Just on the previous, or one of the previous slides, you said that each question was 25?
Yeah, so you typically have 5 answers for each question.
So it's 5 parts to each
Yeah.
question.
Or it's like, well, let me show you some examples. You can see. Okay, here's a sample question, which is unlikely to be on the test because not only is it in my prep slides, but the actual answer is in the prep slides. So here it sets up a situation, and then it says, for up to 5 points each, explain why each of the 5 proposals will not help. Give at least 1 citation for each. I'm sure a lot of you are looking at that and saying, oh my gosh, would anyone actually do this? My daughter Crystal, who will actually be talking next to the last class period here, came to me like a year ago, and they had new management, and they were actually trying to do 2 or 3 of these things. And I just laughed. I said, that's the bad example I give in my class on the midterm. So here is a great full credit answer. So what you have here is a demonstration of what the answers are. Now, look at the citations at the end of each one. If all you give are those citations, you pretty much get 4 points. So that gets you a B. If you know where the citations are and you just cite them, that gets you up to about a B. If you actually understand the issue, can explain this, that gets you to A. Standard test strategy applies, you know. Do the stuff, because you work back and forth, and then do it in order, you go back and forth. Do the stuff you can answer quickly. The stuff that you have to think about or do more searching and looking up, push off. And because you have 5, each of these 5 things is worth 5 points. So that's 25 points right there on that answer. Grading criteria. If there's nothing there, 0. Put something. Put something. Even if it's wrong, you'll get a point. Okay? Sometimes you'll get 2 points if I think it's kind of close. Either unspecific citation, something saying like Brooks chapter 2. Well, Brooks covers a whole lot of ground in chapter 2. Or a correct explanation, adding people to a, late project makes it later, but no citation. That will usually get you to 3 points. A correct citation with at least enough detail so I know what you're talking about. Adding people to a late project makes it later, Brooks Law, Mythical Man Month, chapter 2. That'll get you 4 points right there. That gets you up to a B. And then for 5, you need the correct citation. So this is where you can boost your score. Yes?
So I use the online versions of books,
Uh-huh.
and they don't have page numbers.
And don't put page numbers. Just say chapter so-and-so, a close subheading is good enough. Or if you quote the actual passage out of the book, then it's very clear where you're quoting from. You're not just saying chapter 2. It's, here's what Brooks says, so-and-so in chapter 2. It's like, yeah, you've got the right reference. I also reserve the right to add, and I've done this from time to time, not often, I've given a few extra credit points when I see a really insightful answer. It's like, not only was that a good explanation, but it was a great explanation. In some cases, I have had answers that I didn't expect. I thought, oh my gosh, this person's right. That's a great answer. I hadn't thought of it that way, so I get an extra point for that one. And that's a midterm in a nutshell. And we'll go over this again in 2 weeks, the week before the midterm. In fact, let's do all sorts of stuff out of order here. We're allowed. I'm going to go to this, and I'm going to go to the last slide. Just so we're up. That was useful. There we go. Okay. As I mentioned on Slack, I pushed off the deadline for the rest of people wearing Webster 6 till Saturday. I know that was greeted by cheering in some corners. And your deadline for Accelerate is 2 weeks from today, and I actually may push that to the end of that week as well, because I'd rather you read it in advance of the midterm than push to read it in advance of the last lecture. So, this Saturday, submit your latest status report, watch one podcast, finish people wearing Webster. We're going to discuss Accelerate chapters 1 through 6 next class period, and that's all we're going to discuss. Like I said, we're starting on the downhill slope at this point. 2 weeks, we're going to accelerate. We're going to discuss the rest of Accelerate and Webster readings number 7, which are my pitfalls of modern software development. And we'll go through the midterm prep again. 3 weeks is midterm. There are no assignments due of any kind the Saturday or the Monday after the midterm. You have a week off. Yeah. There's no class on the day of the midterm either. I mean, you're welcome to show up, but there's only like 4 or 5 outlets here, so go somewhere cozy, and yeah, an extension cord to reach most of them. So no class. You just take the midterm wherever you're at. The week after the midterm, I'll have a couple lectures. One will be on legal risks for IT workers. One of my major jobs for the last 20 years is as an expert witness in litigation that involves computer technology. And I'll tell you about all the ways you can get yourself into trouble working in IT. I may have one other lecture that day. The following, I also should note, the 18th, I forgot to put it up there. Guess what else happens on the 18th? Demo day. Those are your first demos. Sorry, I forgot to put that on there. You're all probably saying, wait, so we don't have to? Yes, you do. Okay, 18th is your first demos. Okay, so 25th is midterm. The week after that, which I think is April 1st, I'll have a lecture on legal risks, and I think I've got one other, and that will be all. The following week, the 8th, I'm going to have my daughter Crystal Vivian, who is a U of U computer science graduate, who's been working for a med tech company at Point of the Mountain for 4 years now, and I think is pauses. I think is on the verge of leaving there. Come tell you what it's like as a graduated computer science student to suddenly go out and start working in the real world. And what the differences are between what you thought things would be like as a CS undergrad and what they're actually like out there. And then the class after that, which is the 15th, is your final demos. That's it. That's the rest of the course. No final. So, any questions on any of that? Yes?
I didn't hear you mention the code review.
Code review, you do, I should have put that, that's also, I forgot to put that on there.
I don't see anything on Learning Suite that we can turn in for code review.
It's deliverable number 7, and it should be turned in individually.
Okay.
And I think I pushed off the deadline for that to a week from Saturday. So you've got until a week from Saturday. Go on Learning Curve, you'll see a deliverable number 7, which you can submit individually as opposed to me grading for the other deliverables. Yeah,
So deliverable number 7 is supposed to be turned in on Learning Suite?
yeah.
Because there's no
Yeah.
assignment to that.
Okay, in that case, someone ping me and I'll set it up. Make sure you do that. That should have been there. That's my fault. Okay, so let's go into peopleware. We'll do this until about quarter till, and then I'll let you out early for a bathroom break, and then we'll come back and we'll do Webster. We'll do the rest of peopleware if we need it. We'll do Webster number 6. Huh? Oh yes, and I will. Thank you. And I will do attendance today. I'll do that probably just before the break.